We all say we want a new reality. We want success, we want freedom, we want abundance, and we want better circumstances. But there is an invisible ceiling that most people eventually hit. And that ceiling usually has nothing to do with their ability, their intelligence, or how hard they are working. It is the ceiling of identity, because you cannot consistently create a life that contradicts the beliefs you hold about yourself. It's just not possible. You cannot step into greater success while secretly carrying the belief that you are not capable. You cannot experience a different level of abundance while your internal story is built around limitation. And you cannot move forward in confidence while deep down you see yourself as weak. Because eventually your decisions, your actions, your expectations, and the opportunities you allow yourself to recognize will always be filtered through the image you hold of yourself. And this is where most people get stuck. They try to change the outside. They change their environment. They change and learn new strategies. They work harder. They chase new opportunities. They search for the thing that will finally change their circumstances. But they never question the foundation underneath everything, the beliefs they are creating from. And if that foundation is built on limitation, eventually everything starts returning to what feels familiar. And it's not because you're incapable and not because you are destined to stay where you are. No, but because the mind naturally tries to remain consistent with the identity it has accepted as true. So think about this. Someone can say they want success. They can study, they can invest time, they can take action. But if there's a deeper belief that says, people like me don't succeed, or I always struggle, I'm not good enough, or I am not the type of person who gets ahead, then that belief is constantly influencing the person behind the actions. Because success is not only built through what you do, it is also influenced by who you believe you are while doing it. A person who believes they are capable approaches challenges differently. They see opportunities differently. They recover differently. They make different choices. A person who believes they are powerless will interpret the same situation completely different. The circumstances may be identical, but the internal reality is not, and that internal reality influences the external one. This is why simply changing your circumstances is not always enough. Because if you change your environment but bring the same identity with you, eventually the old patterns return. And someone can receive more money but still have a scarcity identity. And eventually their relationship with money will reflect that. Someone can enter a healthy relationship but still carry the belief that they are unworthy of love. And eventually that belief will influence how they receive love. Someone can achieve success but still secretly believe they are an imposter. But eventually they will struggle to fully accept what they created. The external result is not the end of the story. The internal relationship with yourself is what determines whether you can sustain it. This is where the real work begins. If you want something in your life to change, you have to stop only looking at the external result and start looking at the internal belief creating that pattern. You have to be willing to sit with yourself and ask questions most people avoid. Why do I believe I am not enough? Why do I believe I am weak? Why do I see myself this way? And the most important question, what makes this belief feel so real? Because a belief feeling real does not automatically make it true. Many beliefs feel real simply because they have been repeated for so long. They have been reinforced through experiences, through words, through expectations, through people around us. A child does not enter this world believing they are incapable. They do not arrive believing they are not worthy. They do not arrive believing they are weak. Those ideas are learned. A child absorbs information from their environment. They observe, they listen, they interpret, and sometimes they create conclusions from experiences they were not mature enough to understand. Maybe someone told them they weren't smart enough. Maybe someone constantly focused on their mistakes. Maybe they watched people around them live in fear and struggle. Maybe they were taught that success was only available to certain people. And over time, those messages became beliefs. And then those beliefs became an identity. And then that identity became the lens through which they experienced life. And if you trace many of these beliefs back to where they began, you may discover something uncomfortable. And you know what it is? They were never actually yours. They were just absorbed. A parent's fear became your fear. Someone else's limitation became your limitation. A painful experience became a permanent definition of who you believed yourself to be. A social expectation became a rule you never agreed to, but somehow started living by. For years, you may have been carrying a story that was handed to you and calling it your identity. But a belief only has power when it remains unquestioned. The moment you step back and examine it, the moment you ask, is this actually true, or is this simply what I learned to believe? Something begins to change. You don't have to fight the belief. You don't have to hate the old version of yourself. No. And you don't have to force yourself into fake positivity. You don't have to pretend you are already someone you are not. You simply have to become aware of what has been running you, because awareness creates choice, and choice creates change. And the moment you become aware of a belief, you are no longer completely controlled by it. You have created space. And in that space, you have the ability to choose differently. Creating a new reality is not about becoming someone completely different. It is about removing the beliefs that convinced you that you were less than who you actually are. It is about questioning the stories you accept without ever asking if they were true. It is about taking back your authorship over your own identity. And the moment you stop carrying limitations that were never yours, you begin making different decisions. You begin seeing different possibilities, and you begin showing up differently. And that is where a new reality begins. Not with wishing, not with pretending, not with waiting for something outside of you to change first, but with finally becoming conscious of the person who has been creating it all along. It's remembering who you always were and who you are meant to be in this life experience. If this message connected with you, I want you to do something simple. Don't just listen to this and move on. Take one belief you have about yourself, just one belief that has been quietly shaping your decisions. Maybe it's, I'm not capable, I'm not lucky, I am not successful, I am not enough, and question it. Ask yourself, where did this belief begin? Who gave me this belief, right? Who put it inside my head? And most importantly, would I still choose this belief if I was seeing myself clearly? Because the beginning of change is not forcing yourself to become someone else. The beginning of change is becoming aware of what has been creating through you. If you are ready to go deeper into understanding your identity, your awareness, and your ability to consciously create your life, subscribe to Creating with Nancy. Come join me on my channel, because this journey is not about escaping reality. It is about understanding how reality is created. It is realizing that you have always been part of that creation. You are creating your own reality. And this channel, what I aim to do is teach as many of you that are out there that are not content with who they are and are questioning and looking for answers. And I am here to empower you into remembering who you are. You are phenomenal beings, and you can live the life and should be living the life that you choose. Until our next video, I wish you much love and start asking your questions.